Hey guys, it's your Nathan here, and I'm here to talk about rFactor 2. People have been talking about GTR 2 a lot recently. On Race Department, it's sparked a huge conversation that has gone on for now 12 pages, 13 pages, and it's continuing to cause debate and discussion, and it's very good to see. It's positive, and what's important is it's a way for people to voice what they find important. Now I'm going to voice what I find important, and I'm going to try and see both sides here. Basically what I've got is, we got GTR2 as a measuring stick, what people are using as kind of what sims were back then when compared to what they are today. And we can go ahead and check every single sim and we will find some sort of missing feature, some sort of deficiency. And I'm talking like Assetto Corsa, iRacing, Automobilista, rFactor 2. There's all sorts of sims out there, race from racing experience. I don't know if you want to throw Dirt Rally in there, but you can find all of these different sims missing all these different features, and they're all kind of different in their own ways and what features they're lacking and what features they're packing. However, when we're talking about overall sims being compared, why is rFactor 2 often ignored or completely scoffed at? Well, that's going to be something I'm going to save towards the end. First off, I'm going to go ahead and say that rFactor 2 is the answer to most of your sim racing needs, and the reason why I say that is because it's the answer to mine, and this is my video, so that's why I've said it. You guys can feel free to disagree. However, in my racing experience, especially my sim racing experiences, there's all sorts of content on rFactor 2 that I find appealing to myself, whether it be Formula 1, stock cars, or even Endurance Championship. And I understand if you don't value the Endurance Championship, or if you don't value stock cars, or if you don't value Formula 1 as much. That's fine. I completely understand that. But for me anyways, these are the things that I value, and they exist in rFactor 2. That being said, all the features you're looking for are also going to exist on rFactor 2. Day to night cycles, weather cycles, the real road, the dynamic track is there, which is crazy good for when it rains. You've got all sorts of tire dynamics, what I think is the best driving model out there today. And you've got competitive leagues, somewhat competitive leagues. You've got all of these different cars. Like I said, you got the cars that I care about, and then you got others such as like the USF 2000, the GT 500, a bunch of other classic cars. You got the Indy car, you got plenty of GT cars, or classes at least, and then of course it's a modding platform. So if you talk specifically just what ISI / Studio 397 has offered, there's plenty more that the actual modding community has filled in for. They're doing their job, and they're doing a great job at it, whether it's providing cars or tracks or plugins. They're doing a great job, right? So you got a little bit of everything you can really explore, and again, you have all of the features there. So we kind of talked about that. Now let's talk about the GTR2 measuring stick. GTR2 is a great sim for its time. I've said this before, but it's dated, it feels dated, and honestly, from what I've seen, a lot of people have praised it for its presentation value, which I find to be kind of lacking as a whole. Honestly, if I compare GTR2's presentation value to, say, Automobilista's career mode or championship mode, I don't really find much of a difference, right? The only thing you got, honestly, I'm at a loss. I really don't know what the difference is. It's nice to have kind of that identity, as they call it, but there's nothing there that rFactor 2 can't do. There's nothing there that is presentation-wise above and beyond that any other sim has brought. There's no more authenticity to GTR2 than there is to any other sim out there, and that is just my opinion. You're not whizzing around in around laser scan tracks against real human beings on GTR2, but you can do that in iRacing, and it has an authentic feel in iRacing for that reason. So GTR2 being used as a measuring stick kind of shows what direction people are looking for, or what they prefer, and it seems like they're preferring at the moment. They are preferring the features. They're looking for day to night cycles, weather cycles, stuff like that. I don't understand why people are looking for these things and then they ignore rFactor 2. I saw someone on Race Department, they were talking about dynamic weather, and he was saying how this sim has it, or Project Cars had it, but this other sim doesn't, and Assetto Corsa doesn't, and whatever, and then completely ignores the fact that rFactor 2 offers it. I will say this, of course, VEC does use real weather, so whatever's going on, like if you have a race in Malaysia, they'll take the weather from Malaysia and it'll be a plug-in and it'll work, and it'll take that weather from the weather station and you'll see it on the track. That's not what I'm talking about exactly, but in Japan, in the 6 hours of Japan, we had a race that was almost entirely underwater, it felt like, but the dynamic road and the dynamic weather was awesome. The rain came down and it poured and it poured and then it dried and then it poured, and then in the race itself it dried and then it poured again, and you can see the dynamic road as you know, the dry line comes in and then it goes away. It's really an amazing thing. It's so authentic. It's, you know, it's there. That the features exist. People talk about, again, the measuring stick of GTR 2. It has good AI. Well, guess what? rFactor 2's AI goes above and beyond what GTR 2 can do. Of course, rFactor 2 being more modern, it should have that advantage, and it does. It does, unlike Assetto Corsa or Automobilista. It has that advantage over GTR 2. And of course, the simulation, the driving experience is so much better than what GTR 2 can offer. It seems to me that the graphics are one of the main reasons why rFactor 2 is ignored. Some of the content is another reason why. There's no Ferraris and Lamborghinis or Porsches that come when you first download the game. It doesn't come with the game, which I understand. I mean, it doesn't necessarily seem like the most, it's not an invalid complaint to say, right? When you look at Assetto Corsa and rFactor 2 and you're like, I love supercars. Well, alright. The best option in that case is to buy Assetto Corsa and beg that Lord Kunos he sees your side of the story and starts adding some features, because otherwise, I mean, rFactor 2 isn't necessarily going to provide you with that library, that large library of supercars that you're going to find in Assetto Corsa. Now, that being said, I think another reason why rFactor 2 is ignored, I mean, it has that stigma. Anybody brings up rFactor 2, you basically have to follow that up with nobody cares about rFactor 2. That's just how it is. I don't really know why. It does seem like a lot of people do like to push that narrative. Empty Box being one of those guys who says that nobody cares about rFactor 2, and that's clearly not true. And plenty of other news outlets for sim racing constantly push Project Cars, constantly push Assetto Corsa, and even give more attention to Riza than they deserve. For some reason, rFactor 2 is left in the dark, and it really doesn't deserve to be. I mean, just in general, rFactor 2 really is the answer. And when it gets these improvements, such as graphical improvements, performance improvements, and when all the cars are updated and whatnot, and Studio 397 really takes care of this great sim, I think rFactor 2 is the answer. And to be honest, I mean, if we can get more people on rFactor 2, give it a chance. I will say this. As we're wrapping up this video here, trying to bring it to a close, rFactor 2 definitely has a learning curve. You have to set things up, and it's not gonna feel great right out of the box, unlike most other sims, which is fine. I mean, if you have any questions, I can share some settings, some setups, stuff like that. But basically, rFactor 2, it does take a little bit of an open mind, and once you open your mind, rFactor 2, it's worth your time. It is very much worth your time. And again, it has the features. I just don't understand why it's not more widely regarded as one of the better sims, or at least an option. I feel like it is getting a little bit more attention, but at the same time, you still got people putting it down, especially people with loud voices in the sim racing community. So yeah, I just felt like it was a good idea to go on a little rant and explain why I think rFactor 2 deserves your attention. So anyways, that's it for me. Comment section is open down below. go ahead and type something out, and I'll make sure to get back to you on that. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until then, until next time, have a great day.